Yes, sir. It is Victory Monday. Back-to-back wins for your San Francisco 49ers. I'm Eric Crocker. I'm ready to talk some 49ers football. It's San Francisco 49ers morning show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crosstalk TV podcast. Peace. Good morning to all my people out there, all the faithful. Shout out to y'all, 49ers. Back-to-back wins. They're looking good. I'm feeling good. And you know what else is feeling good? My balls is feeling good because guess who partnered with Manscaped? That's right. The official sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers morning show. Some of you guys guessed it. Y'all was like, it's Manscaped. Don't be mad. Listen, like Manscaped says, man, their whole slogan is your balls will thank you. So, hey, I see the ladies in here. Y'all looking for, a nice little gift for the husband. You know what I'm saying? Y'all looking for a gift for the husband for the holidays? Hey, promo code Crocky. All right, we're going to get into all that and more. Shout out to Manscaped. They sent the nice shirt. They sent all the, everything I need to make sure I'm feeling good down there. Make sure the wife is, pleased and everything. Y'all don't want to be walking around looking all crazy. But forget all that, man. San Francisco 49ers morning show. The 49ers won. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm turned up. That's 2 straight wins. All right. We're getting into it. We're getting into all that stuff. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe button. Locked On 49ers. Make sure you guys listen to that. Myself, Brian Peacock. We are now on YouTube. So you guys get this and you guys get a more structured show with myself and Brian Peacock on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys subscribe to that. You should be able to click the link in the description and subscribe to that channel. I think, it might be up to 200 people by now. There were a lot of y'all that ended up subscribing to YouTube channel. So, yeah, man, appreciate everybody that's in here, man. I'm ready to go. As you guys can see, I'm just excited. All right, so, but let's get into it, man. And obviously today is QB Monday. So Greg Pinelli will be joining us in a little bit, in about 35 minutes or so. Before we get to Greg Pinelli, obviously I'll get to y'all and whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, I'll put the link in the chat. All right. Manscaped, man. Go to Manscaped right now. Manscaped.com. Go get the, they got the Lawnmower 4.0. Promo code Crocky. One of my homeboys went and got it, and it was supposed to cost like $80-something. My promo code knocked off like $20, man. So make sure you guys go use that promo code. A couple of my buddies have. Good question right out the back from our guy Scott. Do you think Kyle should have played Lance in the fourth quarter? There's a couple things there. One, obviously, yeah, you would like to see Trey Lance in there, but I just don't think it was the time. I don't think it was the time to bring Trey Lance in there. I was thinking one of the last 2 possessions they would have got him in there. So I thought there was one where the 49ers, they had the ball, they ended up punting, and then they got the muffed fumble. That drive, I would have liked to see Trey Lance come in that drive, but, just the fact that he kind of got in there at the end, was able to make, play with his legs, get a first down, just things like that. It's going to continue to kind of build that confidence in him and what he's seeing. So I have no issues with how it went. I think that was awesome, just getting them on the field as well as a lot of the other rookies. But 49ers back-to-back wins, and I want to talk about really what I think has been the biggest factor in the 49ers winning. And there are a lot of people that are saying, the 49ers, they found their identity. They're running the ball. And they are. I mean, they ran the ball 86 times over the last 2 weeks. 86 times. Now, a few of those, I think, are kneel downs. But we'll just say, take out the kneel downs, probably about 80 times. All right. So over the last couple of weeks, they ran the ball about 80 times. And with everybody saying that's the 49ers identity, I do think ideally that's what they want to be. That's what they want to get to, right? They want to get to really just being able to pound the rock like that. It's probably not going to be ideal all the time, but I will tell you one thing that I think has really been the key contributor to the 49ers and the success over the last 2 weeks. One, they've been much better with penalties. Against the Jaguars, they had 1 penalty for 12 yards, right? So they're not shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. 2, they're not turning the ball over. 0 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. 3, they're taking the wet ball away. All right. 4 takeaways over the last 2 weeks. So we can point to a lot of different things, oh, 49ers, they've been able to run the ball, like that's the team. But really what it comes down to is they've been much more disciplined. They're not committing penalties. Again, yesterday, one penalty, 12 yards. They're taking the ball away and they're not turning the ball over. That's why the 49ers are winning. Because if you look at games that they've lost early on, that was the big reason why. You know what I'm saying? That was the big reason why. Like just shooting themselves in the foot, turning the ball over. I just saw a stat that Jimmy Garoppolo has been the most efficient quarterback over the last 4 weeks since the Chicago game. And, you know, a big part of that is not turning the ball over. But when he does, 49ers have lost. Matter of fact, I was listening to Haberman in the middle call, and they pointed this out. In every game that Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown an interception, 49ers lost that game. In the games when he hasn't thrown an interception, 49ers won that game. Now, I don't know if it's just that simple, but it's just not contributing to whatever else is going on. Obviously, you've had some fumbles and things like that. Over the last 2 weeks, that's been the biggest thing. That's what has stood out to me the most. They are winning the turnover battle. I thought that the 49ers offense against Arizona was good, but they turned the ball over 3 times, 2 fumbles, and then 1 pick at the end of the game. That's probably the biggest difference. Now, obviously, the 49ers defense in that game played like crap. They weren't tackling well, but the offense didn't do anything to keep them in games, to keep the other team off of the field. I see another comment from my guy, Rich McDonald. 49ers are converting on third downs. They're doing that at a high clip. They're converting on third downs. That was something that they struggled with early on. And I don't think it's just so much that, again, they found their identity. They found their identity. Of course, I think they're getting to their identity on more of what they want to play like. But the biggest thing is not turning the ball over, not committing penalties. They've done a tremendous job of doing that over the last couple of weeks. I think that's what, and if they want to beat the Vikings, and we're going to get to that, that's what they're going to have to do. Continue to not have the penalties, to not have the turnovers. And I see my guy, Rich, right here, says sustained drives and scoring TDs. If you're not turning the ball over and you're not committing penalties, you will sustain drives. If you're the 49ers, I think obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely a good enough quarterback to do that. I like where they're headed, man. I like where they're headed. All right. Another thing, I guess I don't want to say on not like it's not a negative note, but Kyle Shanahan, he's having this battle within himself on what he wants to be, right? Am I the aggressive guy or am I not? And it doesn't matter. And I tweeted this out when it happened, right? When the 49ers, they have 4th and 1 from like 3-yard line and they elected to kick the field goal, right? After a 20-play drive. And I look at things. I looked at the first couple of weeks, and I remember it's come. I didn't come on here yet. I don't think I did the morning show yet. But first couple of weeks, 49ers beat the Lions and the Eagles. And to me, the games weren't like just what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, right? Like just like kind of dominating performances, looking really good. There was something weird going on in those games, and I'm like, if the 49ers play like this, like they're not going to win games, right? Like it looks a little weird. They're not going to win games. I don't think that these two teams are the standard. And I got a lot of pushback on that. Oh, Croc, they're 2-0. Stop being so negative. Stop being so negative. And I'm like, I'm not really trying to be negative. I'm just looking at it from the grand scheme of things, like with what the 49ers want to be, what do we want the 49ers to be? And that is a really good football team. They play good football. They dominate teams. And of course, you're not going to dominate every team. I get that. But I would like to see those moments of just pure dominance, right? Even if it's a game that doesn't go exactly how you would like it to go, even if it results in a loss. But I watched this game like the Packers yesterday. The Packers lost to the Vikings. I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of different areas where the Packers thought that they could have done better. But you just see the competitiveness. Like, hey, we are a good team. We've done a lot of things good. This is, when I looked at the first 2 weeks of the 49ers, I was just like, something's not quite there. People thought I was overreacting. Then boom, 49ers lose the next 4 straight games, right? Next 4 weeks, 49ers lose all those games. And to me, it's not always about what's right in front of you. It's not always about what's right in front of you. Sometimes it's about like that thing, like that that you're looking for. So yesterday, Kyle Shanahan had an opportunity to really kind of step on Jags' throats and stick it to them. You had a 20 play drive. You ate up 13 minutes or whatever it was, and you ended up settling for a field goal. And he's kind of battling within himself because he said after the game, he wanted to go for it, but then he was like, I just kicked the field goal. And I do think when you look at that against the Jags, it's not like that doesn't hurt you, right? Like that's not, you're not worried about that with them. But to me, it's just a little bit bigger than that. I look at it like and again, just what's the thought process? And I saw it last week and I see it again. It's this like unwillingness to be aggressive early on. I remember, you guys remember the Super Bowl. I think we always look at the Super Bowl, and obviously the 49ers had a chance to win at the end of the game and ended up losing. But if you remember early in that game, some things that led to touchdowns or a touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs, they went for it multiple times on fourth down early on to keep a drive going. And that was a big part of why they were even able to stay in that game. Multiple times they were aggressive. And when I look at Andy Reid, I saw it last year. Andy Reid, playoff game. Patrick Mahomes had got knocked out the game. And it was like 4th and 1 from midfield. He could have just punted it. And I think most teams would have. And nobody would have knocked him for that. He went for it with Chad Henne, picked up the first down in the game. So when I look at Kyle Shanahan and some of his decision making, not just this week, last week, there was something against the Rams where he didn't call timeout. They would have had about a minute and a half to be able to drive down the field. He didn't call timeout. He ended up just kind of letting the clock bleed out, and they went into halftime up. Awesome. But then later in the game, he went for it on 4th and 7 from midfield. So I'm like, I think when the game is tight, he gets a little tight. When it's like, I don't know, he gets tight instead of just always having that aggressive mindset. So that's just something to keep track on. Again, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I love what we did game balls for Locked On 49ers. I gave a game ball to both coaches, Kyle Shanahan and our guy, D'Amico Ryans. I think they've both done a terrific job of turning this thing around and getting their their players to be much more disciplined, whether it's with, not turning the ball over or penalties. They've done an awesome job there. But also, it's just something to keep an eye on. Not worried about it, but just something to keep an eye on. All right. Kyle Shanahan and it's a weird aggressiveness because I think in theory he wants to be aggressive, but sometimes he has this battle within himself. So I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't want to say he doesn't have faith in Jimmy Garoppolo because again, he went for it on 4th and 7 from midfield last week when he didn't have to. But I don't know if it's more of a front runner mentality where it's like, well, we're ahead, and if we get it, then we really kill them. But if we don't, and if it's tight, it's just like tight situation. Not sure if I try. I don't know. I really don't know what it is, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. All right. And again, I don't look at it from the standpoint of the 49ers beating the Jaguars, and it didn't matter that he didn't go for it. I'm looking at the thought process behind it. So we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, a masterful job by Kyle Shanahan and really adjusting, even in the run game, utilizing Deebo Samuel, not being like stuck in his ways in the sense of, oh, well, we don't have Elijah Mitchell, and I'm just going to run the ball with Wilson a bunch. And Trey Sermon, it's like, no, you know what? Let's get the best person on my team the ball. Let's get Deebo Samuel the ball in the backfield. We're just going to use him as a running back this game. Essentially, that's what he was. He was a running back. 9 carries, 79 yards, averaged over almost 10 yards a carry, had a rushing touchdown. Deebo's doing big time, man. His usage has been interesting. And obviously, I think we were all looking forward to seeing Deebo Samuel, pick up that 1,000 yards, man, and he's only a few yards away now. I think he's 6 yards away from 1,000. So he should be getting that in the next game. But that's the only thing that takes a hit when you use him in the running game like that. But love seeing that usage. And yeah, man, the 49ers been dominant the last couple weeks. So I want to get you guys in here to talk about it. I have some other notes, but I'll hold off because I'm pretty sure some of you guys will have questions or thoughts that would, really open that up for me. Again, if you haven't already, download the app Underdog Fantasy. That's promo code Crocky. They're all kind of over-unders, props. We actually did it in here the other day. We didn't hit. We didn't hit on my parlay. Laviska Chenault, he he got over the 35. It was what do you need? We needed him to stay under 35 yards, and he got that. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Underdog. So Chenault, why am I not signed in? Oh, there we go. I can pull up live results. Pick them. Looking for the one that we all did together. Here we go. All right, so make sure Underdog Fantasy, if you guys want to get in on this action, feel free. Download the app, or you can go to the website, underdogfantasy.com. All right, and I'm going to share my screen real quick so y'all can see what happened, where we went wrong. All right, boom, here we go. All right, so we took the under on Trevor Lawrence, hit, boom, good job. And you guys drove me to do that. We took the under on Jimmy Garoppolo, 176 yards, so that he had to get under 251, far less than that, good. But Chenault, he got 15 more yards. We got the over on Marvin Jones, so we were good there. And then we had the over on Kittle, and he didn't even come close. So that's where we went wrong. If I would have hit on those things, if Chenault would have had less than 30 and Kittle would have had over 63, then we would have made $100, and all we put in was $5. So if you want to get in on that action, promo code Crocky, Underdog Fantasy. Download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com. All right. As you guys see, I announced it, and I will get my ad reads together for Manscaped and exactly how they want me to do it. But this show is now sponsored by Manscaped. So, go get cleaned up. Don't be walking around looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Get ready for your wife or your lady friend. If you are a lady friend, this would be a great gift for the holidays for your man. Get him right, and where my trimmer, no cuts. Look at this, real quiet too. That's the lawnmower 4.0 right there. That's the lawnmower 4.0. So go ahead, Manscaped. They sent me all kind of different stuff. I got ball deodorant. Don't be walking around smelling all crazy. I'm telling you guys, Manscaped, get that right now. Your balls will thank you. And promo code Crocky, man, knocking off money. I think it's a 20% discount. So make sure you guys go do that right now. We got Manscaped. We got Underdog Fantasy. It all helps this show stay afloat, man. So, help your boy out. Here we go. All right, here we go. Got some of our nearest and dearest friends coming on. Who are we going with first? All right, we're going to go with my guy, Jay. Here we go. What's good, man? Jay, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Can't hear Jay. Hold on. Jay, you there? Can't hear Jay. I don't know if it's me or if it's. Let's see. All right, here we go. We got my guy. Let's see. Gabriel. Yo.
Yo, Croc, what's good?
Oh man, I'm chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm up in Santa Clara right now. Levi's is pretty cool. I gotta check it out.
You said what?
I gotta see Levi Stadium.
Okay, so were you at the game? Or are you going to the game this weekend?
No, I don't think so. But I gotta see the stadium, and they have a little shop you can go inside of, and you can check it out, and they sell jerseys, they sell hats. It's really cool.
Yeah, awesome. So what are your
Have you
thoughts
been to
on
Levi's?
the win? Oh yeah, I've been several times.
That's what's
I
up.
might go this Sunday. I might fly out to watch the 49ers versus Vikings. Who's gonna let me
Nice.
stay with them, man? I don't want to pay for a hotel. Somebody let me stay with them, and I'll go to the Vikings game. All right, but yeah, I've been to several games. But what are your thoughts on the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
So I wasn't able to watch it, but our team's doing pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They've been doing a good job last couple of weeks. I think the biggest thing is not shooting themselves in the foot. Not turning the ball over. They've definitely been much better with the penalties. I think that's been a big part of 49ers having success over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people are saying, hey, 49ers found their identity. Yeah, but I think they are able to play the game they want to because of the fact that they're not having the penalties or the turnovers. So I think that's a big part of it.
For sure. That makes sense, Croc.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get you off, Gabriel. Hey, you're gonna have to find a way. If you can't, if you can't watch the game, let me know, man. I'll send you a link, or I'll let you watch my Sunday ticket or something if I'm not using it. But there's no reason to not watch the 49ers game. All right, so I'm gonna get you off. But next time, if you need help trying to find the game or a way to watch it, just let me know, and I got you.
All right, thanks, Croc. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Here we go, my guy Dion. What's good, Dion?
What up, Crocky? What's going on, baby?
Oh man, I'm chilling. How you feeling after that win?
Hey, man, I feel real good, bro. I feel real good, man. In here chefing up some breakfast, for myself and the
Yes,
wife.
sir.
You know how it is,
Yeah.
I do it all. Try to be as good a dude as it can be. But yeah, man, that's a great win. The thing that I noticed about the game was, man, they was gonna run that ball whether it was gonna work or not because Jacksonville has a really good run defense, man. Like they run defense is crazy. So they even held us to small amounts of yardage and whatnot. But cool thing is it didn't even stop. You know what I'm saying? Um, Everything worked out perfectly. And what I noticed the last two games, Kyle went back to exactly what he did before. He's masking Jimmy's deficiencies and he's limiting his throws. 19 throws against the Rams, 22 throws against the Jags. He's saying, I'm not about to give this a chance to even be screwed up. We're going to run the ball down your throat. Earlier in the season, maybe I tried to push it with him, but honestly, to me, it just I'll stick to that. I don't know whether he trusts him or not. Joe Staley openly came out and said that he didn't that Kyle didn't trust Jimmy. If Joe Staley is saying that on national television, there's got to be some truth to it, bro. The
Yeah.
other thing is when you were talking about what Kyle did when we were in the Super Bowl, Kyle doesn't have that. I did a whole video on it on my channel. Kyle doesn't have the aggressiveness in him. He needs to be more Belichick like. Because Belichick will keep scoring on you. He'll run the ball. He'll run the score up on you. He don't care. Nick Saban, run the score up on you. He doesn't care. Kyle,
I gotta disagree a little bit because
okay, explain
isn't
it.
that the
Give
thing
me
that
give me a good enough. Give me a good enough argument because I that's how I feel. I don't feel he has the aggressiveness that he truthfully needs to be able to put his foot on the throat and keep it there until somebody's face turn blue and they die. Like you got to have that in you. In the Super Bowl, you just gave the prime example. John Lynch was seen on TV. I'll give you that. John Lynch was seen on TV calling for a timeout in the booth. If your GM is calling for a timeout, that means he knows this is a team known for coming back in the playoffs. They had come back in the playoffs twice, Croc, twice from being beat up. And you know how the Chiefs move. Pat Mahomes finds a way. So what do? You don't give them any kind of breathing room. I'm pushing the ball down the field to be able to at least get me a field goal at a bare minimum. He didn't do that.
okay, here's my push back. All right, one,
Okay.
just a few years prior, we watched him in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, and the big issue that most people have with him is that he was too aggressive. Right? Hey, why are you throwing the ball? Why are you doing this? And that was him trying to put his foot on their neck. One time he dialed up the deep shot and it was open, and the running back missed the block, and they ended up being a sack strip fumble, and they returned it to the crib. Right? That helped the Patriots come back. I thought there were several situations in that game, scenarios where it showed his willingness to be aggressive. I think so far what I've seen with him from the 49ers is more of a, and again, I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to see it from his eyes. That's what I try to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's more of a cautious, aggressive, like approach where
Yeah.
it's, if I can, and most coaches have this, like if I can get the first down, then I'm gonna, try to keep going. I think with he's kind of battling within himself with how aggressive he wants to be. And I don't know if it's a quarterback thing or if it's just his mindset. But I do think in theory, he is someone that is extremely aggressive mentally, right? Like look at the trade up for Trey Lance. Like that was an aggressive move. That was an aggressive trade. The trade to get Trent Williams, the trade for even Jimmy Garoppolo. Like these are aggressive moves that he has been a part of. I think in his mind he is aggressive, but there's something that he's battling with. And that's the thing that I have to figure out. Again, just a couple weeks, against the Rams, 4th and 7 from damn near midfield. He went for it on 4th and 7, and not only did we get it, we ended up scoring a touchdown. Like that was aggressive. So he has it in him. It's just he kind of picks and chooses instead of just I'm an aggressive person. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like 4th and 1 from the 3-yard line yesterday, and there was an opportunity for him to be aggressive, he decided not to do it, right? But then later in the game, he did do it, right? Later in the game, it was 4th and goal, whatever, from the 2. He was aggressive. He went for it. 49ers scored a touchdown. And so
He
again,
explained the first one. He basically said, man, that was like a 22 play drive. Like I didn't want to like dog my guys out by having them work that hard and not get points. I understood that. That I didn't. I mean, hey, I get it. Like 22 plays and you come up with nothing, but you still would have them on like the one. But it's all contingent on the pass rush getting home, getting that safety, getting the punt, stuff like that. But like I understood the first one, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're
but
saying.
this is the thing. When you talk about being aggressive, we can always understand it. We can always, you know what I'm saying? I think the guys that are just always aggressive, sometimes you don't understand why they do it, but it still works out for them. I don't understand why the Chiefs with Chad Henne on 4th and 1 from midfield
They
risk
went for
giving
it.
the ball back to the Browns, right? This is a playoff game. You got Chad Henne in there. Mahomes got knocked out. I don't know why Andy Reid, I can't even justify it, but he did it and it worked. So that's my thing. Like we can always, 20 play drive. You don't want your guys to, feel like they got nothing out of it. Like, well, we didn't go after Tom Brady because of this, or we didn't look into Mahomes and Deshaun Watson because of this. You can always justify it, but my thing is like, who are you? And I think that's the part that he's kind of struggling with.
A little bit
Because
of an identity crisis, so to speak.
he's
I
just
can
not an
dig that.
aggressive person. Yeah.
Yeah, I can dig that. I can understand it's like a little bit of an identity crisis fighting within yourself. I mean, me more so. I like the examples you brought, but a few of those were just in the front office. So we can't put front office and field in the same realm as far as your aggressiveness because you can go and get Trent, you could go and get Jimmy, you could go and get Trey, you could do all those things. But then when it turns and processes to the field, for me, I think the difference becomes games are on the line. These are people that you put in there to make the game better for you, and you bring them in because you want to make your team better. But like the last couple of plays to trade, those I would have just left Jimmy in there for that. Couple of handoffs,
Nah.
man.
I was
He's
just
not
talking about
gaining
that
any
last
real
week.
experience on that. But what was he gaining from that? It was
He
nothing.
is because
He had
look,
the
this is why.
ball
And I
off.
was just talking about it last week. The 49ers, I'd say last week, the last 10 plays were all handoffs. And I was talking about, hey, that's an opportunity to get your guy Trey Lance in there. Why? Because early in the game, I know I was watching the Manning cast, and they talked about it. They were like, Jimmy was like, Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. That's him
Yeah,
flipping the
that's
play,
changing the
right?
play. Yeah,
So
and you see them
he's
pat
flipping
their
the play,
heads.
getting it in the
Yeah,
right, they were always going to run it, but it was them flipping it to the other side. Right.
outside. Yeah.
And those are things that even then in the development of Trey Lance that you want to get, right? Where it's even just seeing how the box is stacked live, like not just in practice. How's the box stacked? Do I need to flip it to get a guy in a better spot to be able to pick up yardage and whatnot? Like his decision making on the run, for the first down. Like all those things to me leads to good experience for him, a guy who hasn't really played football in a couple years now. So, I think for most people it's like, oh, he just got in the game, he just handed the ball off. But to me, it all goes into the development of Trey Lance and helping him, move forward. So
Yeah,
I liked him coming in, getting those snaps, even though he's not putting the ball in the air.
I could appreciate that, man. But hey, either way, for me, the last 2 weeks have been a fantastic thing. You watch the game and you just take the time. And to be honest with you, I feel like that's what it is. They ran the ball 42 times last week. They ran the ball 44 times last week, 42 times this week. And they're just basically walking down the field. And I mean, I remember that I liken that to what Peyton Manning did. There were lots of times that Peyton Manning had just walked the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? When he was playing and Tony Dungy, they would literally suck the clock up, so there was nothing left. Like just
Right.
no time for you to do anything. So you get on the field, it's a waste. But hey, both 2-game winning streak. Let's keep it rolling. We got a big test coming up against the Vikings, and they almost took the Packers to overtime, but they went ahead and got the dub. So we got to be mindful of Thielen and Steph. No, sorry, not Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook. Man, he looking real good, and we just got to be on our P's and Q's. But like I said, 2 great wins. Appreciate what I'm saying, you doing the show, Croc. Nothing but love to you, baby. I appreciate everything, man. And I believe me. You know what? I've been thinking about the Manscaped, so I might use that promo code.
Hey
You know
man,
what I'm saying,
hey,
and
Manscaped.
go ahead and get
Listen,
right.
your balls would thank you. You know what I'm saying? And your lady would thank you. You feel me? Manscaped promo code Crocky. Go get that percentage off your
All
your purchase. Manscaped
right,
promo
Croc.
code Crocky.
Nothing but
All
love,
right,
baby.
man.
Have a good one.
All right, see ya. And my dog Dion got Darius coming on now. Darius, how you doing, bro? Darius, you there?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How you feeling this morning? Can you hear me?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good.
Hello, hello,
Yeah,
hello,
hold on one
hello.
second. One
Can
second.
you
Hold
hear
on.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on one second. Let me. Uh-oh. Here we go. 49ers aren't a high team despite having the weapons. Our winning formula our winning formula is running the ball up possession. Um okay, I'll read that again. 49ers aren't a high octane team despite having the weapons. Our winning formula is running the ball, time of possession, and playing style defense. My pushback on this is I think most teams would tell you that their winning formula, most teams, is running the ball, time of possession, and playing stout defense. Right? Like that's how most teams want to win games, or they hope that they can win games that way. I think just being able to consistently do that's the hard part, right? And I think for the 49ers, the bigger thing is again, having wanting to win in that manner, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have penalties. And they tried. They fumbled. What on that first drive? They had some weird things go their way. The drive was kind of pushed forward. You had some penalties that helped the 49ers moving forward. There was some of that in that game as well. Some kind of weird moments. But yeah, as far as the winning formula, I think that's how most people want to win. But Darius, what's good with you, bro?
Man, 2 in a row. I don't care who it was against, just based on the fact it's an NFL game, man.
Yeah.
It could be anybody's
Yep.
game any Sunday. I want to point out the fact that Shanahan, man, I'm gonna give him his credit. A lot of people are not gonna do it. He is kinda in his bag again. I feel like he finally came to realization of what he really has to work with versus what he wanted it to be. We're running the ball a lot, even when he's about to, he's about to go to the shotgun, but no, he stayed with the play action. He stayed with what works, man. He had the offense running right, running left, and shout out to Jacksonville's pass rush. Their blitz game was kind of dope. Like it was getting back there. Um, and Jimmy didn't get nervous. He didn't start throwing those wild balls, and he had that one that he had a few that got away from him in the inside, wide right. Uh, but other than that, when Shanahan takes the restraints off, man, our players really get going, man. Like, I mean, Ayuk is a monster, bro. Like, I don't know what that was the first few games. Like the whole doghouse scenario, like that was garbage. We only had one penalty. I believe we converted almost every third down. I have to check. I didn't really check the stats on that, but when I was watching, it seemed like I don't remember us punting. We might have. Maybe I might have went to the bathroom or got
We
some water,
punted a
but
couple of times. Yeah, we punted a couple of times, but
okay. It just seemed so fluent. I didn't know. You know what I mean? Because we just looked like it was on it. Jennings, I think we need to keep Jennings, man, just based on his energy, dude. Like, and he has short hands. He's slow, but he's gonna get out there. He's gonna block somebody. He's gonna hit somebody hard, man. Like, dude he's a gamer, man. I can't knock him. He plays his position. He knows his part, and he plays it. Like, and I fuck with that, man. If I have to critique it. Oh, hold on. One more thing. Josh Norman, y'all. Yeah, that's been my boy all year, man. 2 forced fumbles, pass deflection, and got the young boy over there, Jefferson. Might have to double coverage that, but we gonna see. We gonna see how that works out because the Vikings, they tough. They 5-5 with us, but their record doesn't show really how good they are, man. It's a mirage because they really
yeah.
get out there and play. But back to us though. So only thing I would have to say is our front, man. The pressure is weak. Other than the fourth quarter, you know, they started getting in there. Nick Bosa got in there twice. Arden Key got his sack, but like all game, it just seemed like damn. Especially when we send the, it was damn near an empty back, an empty coverage to where it's like I'm looking, I'm like I don't see no safety. I see everybody on the line. I'm like, damn, it's one of them ones. And we didn't get no pressure and luck and luck would have it that he missed. I think the dude that dropped, like, damn, bro, like we done bring the house and we can't get back there. You know what I'm saying? So defensive line still got to work on that, man. I'm not gonna be fooled by a great game because those type of things count when you're playing real tough teams. If we talking about getting to the playoffs, you can't have that, man. You can't get down to we're not generating enough punch at the line. Another thing I would say, please don't come for me in the comments. Y'all about to be mad at me when I say this, man. But Trey Sermon and Ambry Thomas, they might not be as good as we thought, man. Not for us at least. Trey Sermon, he a hard runner, big body dude. You know what I'm saying? But he's a north and south type of runner, and I feel like Kyle looking for that more of a fast zigzag, you know, because it's the zone. I remember running the zone in high school. You know, it's the cutback. That's the whole point of it. The line moves a certain direction, and there's a hole that opens up when you cut back. And he didn't do that his first play. I remember I'm watching the first down. Wilson, he only get probably 1 or 2 yards. Boom, they bring Trey in. Trey runs to the
All right,
left.
Darius, my bad, Darius. I had to get you off because the service was cutting in and out for a while. But Sermon, as far as Sermon goes, there's a couple of things. I think he's fighting within himself on how he wants to run and how they want him to run. And sometimes when you're trying to do things like how they want to do it, I think they're just going to take some time. There's going to be that adjustment for him to really start to get to be that one cut guy. You know, like Darius said, you know, he's a north-south runner. I think they actually feel like if he's north-south runner, that's good. I think right now he's been more of a east-west type runner, right? Like a little, you know, kind of bounce things around. And they want him to just get there, see the hole, foot in the ground, get upfield. And right now he's not doing that consistently, but I think the more he sees it, he'll improve. I saw some of that with Elijah Mitchell early on. But with Mitchell, I think Mitchell, the more he has run, he's gotten better. I think they just saw more instances where he did put his foot in the ground and get upfield right now, and that led to some bigger runs. But I think even with Elijah Mitchell, he's still learning to really, really see it on a consistent basis and run exactly how they want him to run. Here we go. Got my guy Ryan on. Ryan, what's good, bro? Ryan, you there?
What's cracking, man? How you doing, cracking? Yeah, can you
I'm
hear me?
good, man. How you feeling about that win? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was happy. It was pretty cool. It was good. I was understanding the opponent we played. I think the offense did well. We missed a couple throws here and there, but for the most part, we ran and showed our identity. I have a question for you though. Do you
Yeah.
think? I think it's something of what you guys talking about earlier about time management and Kyle Shanahan system. Do you think Kyle is extremely good at being a front runner and not necessarily that good when, say, for instance, we don't get 2 turnovers and we don't have the lead? I don't think he is as good of a coach in those predicaments than he is when he does have the lead, and that's what scares me. You see, get what I'm saying?
I don't want to say that, but there is something to that, right? Because I think I saw some kind of stat where Kyle Shanahan hasn't won a game when he was losing at halftime. Did you see that? You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You guys in the chat, y'all can
Yeah.
let us know. But I think I saw a stat that with him as the head coach of the 49ers, he has not won a game when going into halftime trailing. So that's something that can definitely be, a little concerning and maybe speak to what you're saying in the sense of him being more of a front runner, being a little bit more comfortable, while ahead and being able to dial things up and things maybe get a little tighter while when he's not, my bad. And things getting a little tighter when he's not ahead or he doesn't have that lead, right? So I think there could be a little, I don't want to call it front runner, but I get what you're saying though.
Because okay, so like we've all seen the great coach. It seems like when something goes bad and we don't have like a first down or we don't convert on our like third downs or whatnot, I can almost sense and feel his whether it's his nervousness or his indecision be coming into play. Because he's a very scripted individual. Like he's very meticulous in everything they do. So if something is off script, I can feel in his play calling where he begins to. You don't see the direction in like a self assuredness in the play calling. If that makes sense. Like every time I watch them when they're winning, it's a consistent theme that you see. But I hope that he will learn how to adapt when things aren't going that same type of way and feel just as confident in his play calling and his players to still make things out of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I see somebody say that where's it? Y'all nitpicking. I think he's talking about us. I see the chat going up right now. I got Morales. And I'll say this. We're not nitpicking. Like I don't think we're saying like Kyle's a bad coach. I don't think we're saying we're not happy with the win. We're not saying we're not happy with we're just saying, it's just something to keep an eye on, right? Like just trying to get to know who our head coach is. And you use the word front runner. I would say, I don't want to call him that, but the 49ers have not I have to fact check this, but I believe I saw this stat.
Yeah.
There's not one game that Kyle Shanahan has won when he went into halftime losing. And if that is the case, that can speak to maybe some of his, coaching decisions and things like that you're speaking to in the sense of how he plays when the game is either tight or behind.
Yeah, because I don't even want to say, okay, front runner might be the wrong word, but I like to look, this is how I look at things. I like to be objective when it comes to my Niners. And so I look at the first 2 games, how we played, and though we got the victory, we was like, okay, cool, we won, we got 2 dubs. Any win in the NFL is a good win. I get that. But then I also like to look at the team and just seeing, okay, we play against the Jaguars, we handled our business, did what we're supposed to do. We played against the Rams, who came up with bad, L. We've been beating them over the last couple of years, did what we were supposed to do. I'm glad. But I also like to be objective enough to know what teams coming in that we can play who may not make some of those similar mistakes. And I want I always want my coach to be still feeling confident and be like, all right, bro, if things don't pan out like we see 20 play drives, keep going them Deebo plays that were very creative. Keep doing, you know what I'm saying? Like keep that same energy, man. Don't get down on your play calling. Trust yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So now I agree. I do think there's something to that, and there's definitely something 49ers will probably have to continue to improve on Kyle Shanahan with some of his play calling. I see somebody say that he did have a win when trailing at halftime, and it was against the Saints. Yeah. So nope. 49ers were winning that game. At halftime, 49ers were up 28-27. So not sorry. I saw it. Hold on. Where was it at? Because they said it. They said, where was it at? Gosh, I don't see it. This chat moves fast. But no, they said the New Orleans Saints 2019 49ers were down right here. Oh, false. We were trailing the Saints at the half. I'm looking at it right now. 49ers were up 28-27 at halftime. Now, they were trailing in that game, but not at halftime. So that stat still kind of holds true. But I will say that was a game where he had to get in his bag and come from behind and win. I mean, that was the 49ers were down 2 scores in that game. So if we do want to look to a positive example of him being able to overcome like that type of adversity, being down multiple scores and coming back, he did do it in that game. He did.
Facts.
Yes.
Facts. And so that's all I'm saying. Like, as we go to the next half of the year, I wouldn't mind us even being down a little bit so he can continue to gain that confidence to work, to work those things off, whether it's with time management or with, be able to adjust his play calling if we do get behind or we do have an early turnover, just to kind of keep on that same energy, because I do like the way we've been playing. Shout out to the defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans. I don't hear nobody calling for your head over the last 2 weeks. Once you got your players back, hey, you play a lot better when you got players. I mean, I'll tell somebody today, like, dude, if you missing Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins, it's going to be rough out there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be exposed. And you start getting some of them dogs back, you kind of realize that, you got a decent secondary back there, man, that's really doing a good job. We definitely need a D tackle, though. Please, somebody, we need a D tackle. We need a D tackle bad.
Right. And there was another game. Somebody brought up the Cardinals game from 2019. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 49ers were down 16-0 in that game to start. And they did come from behind and they won. But again, I think that's another one of those games where at halftime, 49ers were losing at halftime. They were down 16-10 at halftime. So that might be his only win when trailing at halftime. So that's a good one. Yeah, and that's not to say that he can't come from behind, but what you're saying is just in the sense of his mindset, and that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, who is our coach? And maybe Kyle is still trying to figure out like who he is as it pertains to like the things that he wants to do in his head and how he has to play with his team. Maybe he can't do all the things that he wants to do. There's that aspect of it as well. So I don't think it's nitpicking him or being, overly critical or anything, but it's just trying to figure out like who is our head coach, right? If you ask the Chiefs, and obviously Andy Reid, he's been the Chiefs head coach for a while now, but they know who Andy Reid is, good or for bad. Sean Payton, Saints, they know who their coach is. Mike Tomlin, Steelers, they know who he is. And I think right now with the 49ers, we're still trying to find out who exactly
is Kyle. Hey, that's a nice episode, man. Hey, that's a nice title you can do one day throughout the week. Who is Kyle?
All right, here we go. So,
all right, man. Well, look,
I'm gonna get you off. I'm about to bring my guy Greg Pinelli on. I appreciate you coming on, Ryan.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one, man. Peace out.
All right, here we go. I thought I sent Greg the invite. I guess I didn't. My bad, Greg. I think I did, didn't I? Oh, I didn't. So who did I send that link to? Sent it to somebody, not Greg. This is QB Monday. So, we're going to have Greg come on. He's going to talk about some throws and things, or some things that he's looking for from the quarterback. So excited to kind of look into that. I haven't watched the plays yet, but I'm going to bring them up, and we're going to look into what Greg is seeing from the quarterback standpoint. Again, it's QB Monday, so he'll be coming on the show. Sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Again, make sure you download Underdog Fantasy, the app, or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com. Type in promo code Crocky. All right. And I believe they're still matching whatever you deposit. So if you deposit $20, they're going to actually match that and give you $20 more for you to play with. And, like I said, we've done our over-unders and things like that. we'll see when Greg gets in here. I'll share my screen right now. And again, it's not just football. It's really all sports. So yeah, it's really a fun app. This is what we did the other day. I had some other parlays that I played. Didn't end up hitting anything, but you have all sports. You got football right here. So I'm assuming who's it? Tampa Bay against the Giants tonight. We could do some over-unders on them. All right. Is Mike Evans going to get more than 60 yards if you think so? Or 66 yards if you think so? Hit the over. Is Chris Godwin going to get 74 yards? If you don't think so, hit the under. Daniel Jones, 23 rushing yards. Hit the over. Parlay that. Put in, I don't know, $5 bet. And boom, that'll win you $30. Okay, you want to go a little bit bigger? $20 bet. That'll win you 120. All right. And on top of football, they also have basketball as well. So Kevin Durant playing against Cleveland tonight. Will he get over 28 points? If you think so, hit the over. And you can actually add him to your parlay. All right. So again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys download the app. Promo code Crocky. All that good stuff. All right, here we go. Let's see. Josh Norman has forced 5 fumbles in 8 games. He's punching that ball out. And that's something I've noticed even with like younger kids. I watch high school football, right? And it's like everybody just goes and tackles the guy. They just go and tackle. And I'm like, high school players have like the worst ball security ever. It's like, man, if you teach some of these young guys to just punch at the ball or rip at the ball in high school, they force so many fumbles. And that's one thing that Josh Norman has mastered. And he's punching that ball out. Shout out to Peanut Tillman. Shout out to Peanut Tillman. Got a comment here from my guy Ellis. Good to see you back in here. Deebo is the real MVP. Deebo's balling, man. Deebo is balling. But all right, guys, finna go to break real quick. Norman forcing 5 fumbles. Finna go to break real quick. And when we get back, we will have my guy, Greg Pinelli. It's QB Monday. He got the 49ers hoodie. He's ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see some of these throws that he's talking about. All right, so keep it locked right here. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, welcome back, guys. Now, I got my guy, Greg Pinelli here, QB Monday, the QB extraordinaire, the QB trainer, the GOAT, the guy that, he got a lot of kids in the playoffs, man. How were some of their performances? And you just lost one. Cruz Herrera, he lost. I saw
Cruz took down the city of Stockton. He took down everybody else in Stockton. He took down Edison. He took down Lincoln. They lost to Rockland High School.
I'm still holding it down for E-House, man.
Yeah, there you go. No, he took them down. They lost to Rockland. They were up 10 with 2 minutes to go and ended up losing the game. So not ideal. Nick Coronado, one of the quarterbacks from Tracy, California, Kimball High School. He's the leader in the state for passing right now. I think he's got like 57 touchdowns to 4 picks or something like that. Something crazy.
Let's go,
He's
Nick.
top 5 in the country. Yeah, so Nick's balling out. And I know you had Nick when he was I think he was an 8th grader, 7th, 8th grader, right, on 7-on-7?
Yeah, middle school kid. Yeah, I had him middle school, 7-on-7.
Yep. And then so we have Strand out there in Arkansas.
I know Strand taking the L. But his last high school pass was a touchdown, so that's cool.
Yeah,
do you think that 7-on-7? I mean, obviously there's trainers like you out there, and you're really helping develop a lot of these young kids. Do you think that 7-on-7 is contributing to maybe quarterbacks just, being able to throw the ball better nowadays? Because everybody's throwing the ball around. You see, like I said, like a Nick Coronado, throwing for, 57 touchdowns. Is 7-on-7 helping with that, or do you think that's just him with his training, his coach, and things like that, and that's contributing more to the success?
I think it depends. I really think it depends because I think the training, I think the body of work, I think the confidence, I think the cool thing about what they've done compared to a lot of high schools is they've all kind of stuck together, which you see a lot of high schools when a little bit of success starts to come. It's like, what's the next step? Where can I go that's a bigger high school that's going to give me more exposure? And I know you know of a couple kids from Stockton, and I'm not going to mention it, but there's a few that leave to schools, other Southern California schools, Sacramento schools, Bay Area schools, whatever it may be, that might get
You're
them more
talking about
exposure.
Raleigh Brown.
Yeah, Raleek. Which
So
I
Raleigh,
and I got mad love for him. I don't get me wrong, I got mad love for him, but I don't feel like Raleek needed to do that to get more exposure because he had the offers already anyways. Now I do get it where you want to play maybe a better talent pool overall and get you ready for the next level. But a lot of kids do that, not necessarily in his position where they would leave and go to another school to get better offers when they're already at a school that gets enough exposure as it is already. Now, don't get me wrong, modern day, completely different than Edison High School in Stockton as far as exposure. But Edison is getting a lot of exposure now,
right.
which is good.
Yeah.
They got a few guys on their team. USC, right? So
when it came to Raleigh,
Lincoln
though,
and
because
Stockton.
I had the same thought process when I found out. I think we were at that banquet, and that was when I heard like Raleigh was transferring to modern day. And my thing was like, man, you already got the offers to USC, Alabama, everybody in the nation. Like, why leave? And I never talked to Raleigh about his offers, about anything. Like with me, it was always just on the field coaching. Like, Raleigh, get your eyes out the backfield. Why are you doing that? Oh, Raleigh, I need you to play safety right here. It was never about like all the offers and the attention he got off the field. But I will say this: since him leaving to modern day, and flying to Texas to play against Duncanville, playing against Bosco, playing, in front of those type of crowds in that atmosphere. I understood it after I saw it. I'm like, okay, I get it. If I'm a 5-star
thing is what you've
running
seen.
back, one of the top in the nation, I'd do it too. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people were probably thinking the kid's going to go get exposed because he's good in Stockton, but he's not good enough to play in modern day. And then he goes to modern day and it's absolutely lighting it up, not skipping a beat. So he's proved his worth. Like, he's done really well there. So I'm not knocking the kid. I think Raleek has done a great job. But a lot of kids will obviously do that stuff. So it's cool to see Nick's team over there in Kimball kind of stick together. So I think with the 7-on-7 stuff, it just depends. And you know as well as I do, if 7-on-7 football is not quarterback driven, it becomes very backyard football-ish, mesh concepts constantly, man crossers, into throwing deep balls. Like, that's kind of 7-on-7 is mesh crossers, pick routes, and deep balls. So if it's not a quarterback-driven offense, then
they're not learning.
To me, it just becomes, it's, you know how it is, taking the snaps and taking 5 hitches before they throw the ball. And it's unrealistic footwork, unrealistic expectations of the quarterback. And it's really not reading defenses because you called 7-on-7. Like, how many times realistically were you running a true zone type of defense when you don't have to have any run responsibilities? In most tournaments, you don't have any run responsibilities. So everybody just kind of bails out of there and is playing, much deeper than they would be, or you're running 2-man, or, these different types of coverages. But at the end of the day, it's going to become man anyways, because guys are pushing vert and they match up there after 10 yards anyway. So it's like a bunch of, it just depends. I see a bunch of it. That's a question I get a lot. Should my kid play 7-on-7? And it's depending on the coaching staff. I think if you get a coaching staff that's going to make it quarterback driven, or it's going to be quarterback driven, where the quarterback will have responsibilities and reads and progressions and things like that, which becomes a little bit distracting, if you would, in the 7-on-7 world, because again, the defense neglects some of the responsibilities as far as run game play, right? So they're dropping right off the bat. So you're kind of taking what they're giving you, which you should in real games anyways, but what you're giving in 7-on-7 is more unrealistic than what you would see in a real game. And the timing, throwing the ball, sitting back there in the pocket with nobody rushing, and you got 4 seconds on the quarterback tee, and you're hitching, and you're scanning the whole field left and right 2 times, is not really realistic. So if there's some type of responsibility from the quarterback position, I think it's good. But there's I had 3 Division I quarterbacks out of high school last year, and not one of them played on a 7-on-7 team. So when I talk to college coaches every week, I don't have college coaches that call me and ask, hey, what 7-on-7 team is he playing for? If that makes sense.
Right.
And it's not a shot at 7-on-7. Like I don't mind it. Like I think it's good for the kids if they do it right. But again, there's not a coach in the country as far as quarterbacks go that are going to say, hey, we want this kid because he balled out in this 7-on-7 tournament. Now for the athletes, that's different. They get to show their speed, get to show the jumping ability, and coverage skills, especially as a DB. Like 7-on-7 for DBs, that's different because the game becomes a disadvantage for a DB in 7-on-7. So you could see guys flip their hips. You can see their vertical speed once they flip and run, their break speed because, again, they're at a disadvantage when a quarterback's got 4 seconds to throw the ball. You got to keep on running with dudes instead of 2.5 seconds in high school and the ball's out because they're going to get sacked or whatever it may be.
So speaking of being at a disadvantage, we got Milf Hunter here, and he says Grant Cohn says 49ers should put Deebo Samuel at running back to pay him less. All right, now that's actually
hold on, Milf Hunter. What is that?
He's hunting down milfs.
Man, it sounds like that dude you were tweeting about yesterday. I'm not even gonna blast him though. Go 49ers Mike. What was his name on there?
No, man. Okay, yeah. But did you see how that
dude,
whole thing came about?
So I was looking through. Okay, so I seen you tweet about it, and I looked at the thread, and I'm like, what is Crocker talking about? Like you were laughing. I was in my car, like literally stopped in traffic on 99 yesterday, going to Modesto to train quarterbacks. And I'm sitting here looking at it, like dead stop, accident in the middle of the freeway. And I'm like, gosh, damn it. So I pulled up Twitter. I'm like, boom. I seen your video. And I pulled it up. And literally I'm watching you laugh constantly on Twitter. And I literally, I could not. It was one of those videos where you can't not watch it and not start dying laughing because you're dying laughing. So I started laughing. I'm like, what is he laughing about? And then I go through the thread. I go back to find it. And I'm like, what is this? And then I see the screenshot, and I was like, no way. Like, come on, bro, you gotta crop that. Like, you gotta do a little bit more diligence if you're gonna post that to Twitter. Like, you gotta double check at least. I mean, maybe it was just like, hey, I'm gonna throw it out there and make a joke about it, but I'm not touching on that. You can touch on that. I don't want to roast anybody on here.
My guy, he's my guy. I'm chilling. It's the morning. And I see him in that, you could see him. He's in that spaces on Twitter, right? I'm like, and for those of you who don't follow me, Eric_Twitter on, Eric_Crocker on Twitter, at Greg_Pinelli. Follow him as well on Twitter. So I see my guy in the thing, you could see it. And I'm looking at the title and I'm like, what the hell is he in? Like, what is that? So I screenshot it and I meant to send it to him and be like, Mike, why are you in this spaces? But, sometimes I get busy. My head is all over the place. So I just forgot. So the next morning, somebody was like, hey, man, some of these spaces on Twitter are wild that people be in. And I commented and I was like, yeah, I saw Mike in one yesterday. And then a girl commented and she was like, yeah, I saw him in there too. And so Mike is like, y'all can see that? Because before you weren't able to see it, somebody was just listening. You like if I'm in the spaces, you just see like, if I'm talking, then it would pop up. But if I'm not speaking in it and I'm just listening,
when you do your halftime show, like that type of space is what you're talking about, like that.
Yeah. So, but when I do my halftime show, you'll see that I'm speaking. But typically, if somebody's just listening, then you don't just like see them in there like that. You see the speakers. Well, I guess now there's something. I don't know if there's a glitch or what, but you can actually see the people that are listening as well. So I see this crazy ass title. And so he was like, so the girl was like, oh yeah, and I'm like, dude, like I actually screenshot, I meant to send it to you, and he's like, oh, I need to see that. So I'm like, all right, here it is. So,
it was free game. It was free game at that point.
So I'm not thinking that he wants me to like DM it to him or text him or anything, like, you know what I'm saying? So I sent it in. So he's like, Phil, you could have DM me that. You could have texted me that. It's like, bro, you're in there. And then since then, I've seen
no,
like
the
a couple
fact
of
that
other ones where
he
people,
is out there,
yeah. So yeah, he got it. He
man,
got
that
to
is
chill.
wild.
Yeah, he got to chill. But
That's
anyways,
wild.
let's get to 49ers. We do have Milf Hunter, and he says 49ers put Deebo at running back to pay him less. That's what Grant Cohn thinks. And I would say I get it in theory, that makes sense. But what are you gonna do? Pay him like a running back and then be like, all right, psych, we're putting you at receiver. Like, nah, his agent ain't going for that.
That
So
it's
it
not
sounds
happening.
good. I get
It's
what
not
Grant's
happening.
saying.
His agent ain't that stupid.
Right. I get what Grant is saying though. If the 49ers could do that, then yeah, it would make a lot of sense. But there's no way. There's no way. All right, here we go. Crocker is hella funny dying. Yeah, that had me dying. All right, anyways, let's get into some of these throws. So one, do you want to go over the throws first from Jimmy Garoppolo, or do you want to just give kind of your opinion on it and then get into it? How do you want to do it?
Yeah, no. So I was watching the game. Obviously, took some screen recordings and I sent them to you off the Game Pass. Just last night, as I was watching some things, and we talked about Jimmy in the state that he's in and what he's been doing and how well he's been doing things the last few weeks. And I feel like it's gotten repetitive, which is good. Like, I'd rather have us talking about how well Jimmy's doing versus, the crappy things he's doing over and over and we're losing games or whatever it may be. But I took a couple screenshots. So I did throw a couple misses in there because I'm gonna tailor towards the still play Trey Lance people that are out there.
Yeah.
Because that's still going to be a topic, and I'm still going to see. I'm sure Grant's out there right now on Twitter talking about how Trey Lance should still be playing in the game, and they would have won by 50 yesterday if he was playing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's just it's there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at what Jimmy's been doing as far as efficiency, as far as operating the offense. Now, we talked about it, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Croc, you're playing with fire. You might want to hide those DMs or you're going to get exposed here real quick.
Oh, no, I ain't got nothing crazy in there.
You're going to look like porn star Jimmy here in a second if somebody sends you a crazy message.
No, there's no messages in there. I'll be good.
No, I'm messing with you. So, the thing is I was talking about it yesterday, and I still got to go back and really watch the game with the Bills game. The Bills lost yesterday. Obviously, my dude Josh did not have the greatest day. And I'm not bashing on him by any means. But the thing that you get with guys with strong arms and guys like Mahomes, guys like Josh, guys like even Kyler Murray sometimes, and Trey Lance's of the world, and they get away with. They make so many good throws, so many like out of this world, holy crap, how did he make that throw type of throws that make you necessarily sometimes forget about the little misses that they have. And when you don't have those sexy throws within a game, sometimes those little misses get exposed a little bit more. So that's that high risk, high reward. Like you can throw without your feet underneath you and make up for it with your arm talent, which those guys can do. Trey Lance can obviously do that. So it's the high risk, high reward thing. A lot of times those guys will try and overpower balls with their arm talent. They don't necessarily get their feet set all the time because they don't have to get their feet set all the time. So it's a different style of play than what Jimmy brings. And that's the difference is people want to see that style because – and I get it too, because it brings a different element. And it's like, well, what if he's playing? Now we have the deep threats. Now we have the long ball down the field. But would you take that with the high risk, or would you take the efficiency that you've been getting with Jimmy G? And I guess that'd be a question for the folks that are listening. It's like, realistically speaking, I think you'd be crazy to say that there should be a change made based on the efficiency that we've seen over the last month or month and a half, whatever it may be from Jimmy Garoppolo. So I don't, Trey
The
Lance
most
gets in there
efficient
yesterday,
quarterback
there he
in
goes.
football. The most efficient quarterback in football over the last 4 weeks, or over the last 4 games.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So, and a lot of people have asked on Twitter, What do you think is the difference? And realistically, I think that it's Shanahan getting back to the offense that got them to where they are. I think it's the play calls, the diversity within the playbook. Throwing Deebo at running back. I mean, it's like, what the hell were the Jags doing? You watch the game, you're like, Deebo's at running back. They're really not going to use him as a decoy at running back. Not much. They haven't shown it yet. And he was still cooking their ass. So it's like, what are you doing? Now, so like getting into that part of the offense with Shanahan and what he's done, I think that has helped Jimmy's confidence. And then he's put Jimmy in the shotgun more with his when they're doing their pass plays. But yesterday, again, there's a screenshot on here or a screen recording on here that we'll talk about the play action stuff. But Jimmy throws the ball on time a lot. He reads the flat defenders really well. He reads the middle of the field really well. He throws a lot of passes over the middle of the field that a lot of other quarterbacks don't necessarily throw because you get inside the hashes and things get tight. Gets a little bit spooky inside the hashes for quarterbacks because guys are a lot faster. Safeties roll down, whatever it may be. You got robbers playing in the middle of the field. So Jimmy does a good job of that stuff. Like that's, to me, that is really underlooked as far as what he does in his game is the ability to throw the ball over the middle. Now I'm saying this again, I'm throwing a pick over the middle, knock on wood, next week. So hopefully he doesn't, but he does. He throws the ball over the middle really well with a lot of confidence, and he throws it on time a lot. So from a quarterback coaching perspective, we looked at it, comparing it to Josh last week with Jimmy's throws inside the numbers or basically almost inside the hashes. Like 90% of his throws were inside the hashes, I think. And then you look at Josh's, they were, I think, probably like 65, 70% of his throws were outside the hashes. So it's a completely different style of game now. Given the arm talent, that's different. But you can make those throws from the opposite hash to the far side of the field or to the wide side of the field. So I like the efficiency. I think that Jimmy's done a good job. Obviously, we got a little bit of help yesterday with some stupid penalties from the Jaguars that extended some drives. That it wasn't all just the Niners killing it. There was some stupid mistakes made from the Jaguars that definitely helped them out. I know one of them was on a sack. I think it was the first drive of the game or second drive of the game where they got a sack and then the Niners kept moving. But no, I think overall he's done a really good job. There's a couple there. We saw him throw a deep ball, not a deep ball, but kind of a go ball on a cover one, or not even cover. I don't even know if it was cover one. It might have been two match, but it's yes, he's an NFL quarterback, but I'll say this: like they don't throw the ball vertically a lot, so he doesn't have many opportunities to necessarily practice the deep ball in live rep situations. So he missed it.
Also, I don't think it was as bad as people are saying. I've always talked about
it wasn't terrible. I mean, that's one of those throws where it's like, go ahead.
Yeah, the go route is the lowest percentage throw a quarterback can attempt. So more times than not, when throwing a go route, I'd say probably 90% of the time, it's not just on the money. Like the receiver just hits him in stride, doesn't have to adjust anything, right? Unless you're Aaron Rodgers. Now, most of the time he hits it in stride. But most quarterbacks, they just put it in an area to where their receiver can adjust and make a play. And I thought he put that ball in an area 50-50 where balls. Deebo Samuel could adjust and make a play, and he just didn't make that play for him. So, yeah, that was kind of my kind of outlook on that whole thing. But let's get into some of these plays here. All right. Here we go.
And like I said, we've been talking about the positives, so I wanted to show some of the negatives or some of the things that he might be able to do a little bit differently. I think it's that leak flat or that flat route, that mesh concept coming across. So if you look, for those who don't necessarily know what mesh concept is, it's crossers across the middle. So you're trying to get guys here. Pause it right there.
Okay, hold on.
Right there. Okay, so you see both of them across the middle. It's Juszczyk, right? And I think it was Wilson. So they're going across the middle, and basically it becomes a natural pick play. So Juszczyk, as he crosses, Wilson, I think, goes underneath, and it becomes a natural pick play. So that middle linebacker It's rolling off a play action. So rewind it just a hair, Croc.
More.
A little bit more.
More.
Yep. Yeah, just go over from right under center real quick. So you got Deebo in the backfield, okay? And then you got Wilson out to the left there, playing tight. Yep, and then you got Juszczyk on the right side.
Is this Ayuk with his hand in the dirt?
I can't tell because the screen's so small. It
Next
looks
to
like it,
Wilson. Hold on. That is
Yeah,
him.
it is. So you look. So
All right.
these are like those things that we're talking about. Look at the diversity of the offense. Like how do you see this? Like this personnel group realistically is because of what's on the field.
It's 21
Who's playing
personnel.
fullback here? Right,
That's
but who's
George
playing
Kittle.
fullback here?
George Kittle.
Okay, so that's Kittle. So realistically, because you got Kittle in there, right? 2 running backs, 1 tight end, but you got Juszczyk there. So there's your 1 running back. The other running back would be Deebo, right? But then you got Wilson out there. So there's your other running back, right? So the personnel groups are all thrown off. And then you got Ayuk with his hand in the dirt. So realistically, you got 3 running backs out there if you really wanted to count them as running backs and 2 tight ends, right?
Right.
Because Ayuk's got his hand in the dirt. But when they get up to line of scrimmage, they're thinking it's 21 personnel. And you get this formation, that's what throws them out of whack. So
look at them right now. Look how they're coiled up in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even know what to do.
You hardly ever see a defense doing that. I mean, like if you talk about leverage points, like what if Juszczyk runs a 5-yard speed out with that leverage right there, or just runs a flat right now, or a bubble right now?
Right.
Like how do you play that as an outside backer? Because their leverage is jacked up now because of who the hell is on the field and where they are. Now you talk about the efficiency of play action. We're going to talk about it again as you go ahead and start it.
All right, here we go.
So watch the backers in the middle. Deebo goes left. Okay, now you're freezing linebackers, right? And you're getting the linebackers to move wide. Now he's got Wilson out there in the flat, okay? This is one of those balls where he was wide open, and he missed him, right? He missed him a little bit, and people watch this on the first drive of the game. You're like, gosh, damn, that's a touchdown, easy. That's a gimme route, right? This is one of those throws like if it's 6 inches closer to Wilson, it's on the money, right? Or if it's a receiver, maybe he catches it. I don't necessarily think this is a terrible ball, but this is one of those ones that Jimmy, like you see him wide open, like you literally could have just thrown it underhand to him and he's got it. But
there are a lot of people saying that Wilson slowed down. They're saying Wilson slowed down.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if that's Deebo Samuel or if that's Ayuk, that's a touchdown.
I don't even think he's so much like, I mean, technically, I guess, but I think he's just looking like, damn, there's nobody. So he's kind of like, all right, like, just get it to me.
Okay, I'm going to throttle it down right here and just get it to me. And then by the time it snaps on him, it's too far.
It's like when you're that wide open, it's like, what's the point of me just sprinting all balls to the wall, 100% full speed? So it's just like, hey, I'm open. Just toss it to me real quick, and we got a touchdown. I think that's what we're seeing. Instead of some people just thinking, oh, he's just slowing down because he doesn't think he's getting the ball. I think he thinks he's getting the ball. He's just like, there's nobody covering me. Just toss it to me. It's an easy touchdown. And Jimmy kind of just –
And Jimmy put it in front of him. So Jimmy pops his head around on play action, gets a little rushed with his feet, tries to get it out there. It wasn't a bad throw. Like I said, if that's a receiver, I think all of us could agree that's probably a touchdown 10 out of 10 times. Then there was this one. I think this one was just a play action. Yeah, so pause it right here. This is just a run play, inside zone run. But if you look at the defensive end up top, okay, and then you look at the backer, it'd be the number 2. I think it's the number 2 defender.
Are you able to see my
number 2
cursor?
outside? Yeah. So go ahead and click on it real quick. I think I don't know if that's a nickel. The screen's so small I can't see right now. So yeah, he rolls down in the box, right? So you got the outside, the defensive end right there, or outside backer because they run that 3-4-ish look. Okay, now watch number 2. So see the number 2 defender behind him?
Yep.
Right there. Yep. Okay, so watch the defensive end and the number 2 defender. This is how effective play action is. Right here. Look at all those guys going out with a run now. And you got the defensive end playing what? Play action, right? So look at the cutback lane now. because those guys, Jimmy sold his play action. So now look at the cutback lane. Guys are completely out of position. And you want to talk about run efficiency and selling play action. This is a great tool for young quarterbacks. If Jimmy doesn't sell that play action like he does,
Jimmy takes, because of Jimmy selling the play action, he takes him, and he has him running up with the receiver. Everybody thinking it's play action, and all while Wilson has the ball.
Yep. And that's
you're saying that a big part of it is
to what we do.
A big part of it is Jimmy Garoppolo maybe making things look the same, right? Whether it's a play action or him keeping the ball to potentially throw it.
Absolutely.
So essentially carrying out
these are small details these are small details, like you just said, carrying out your fake. Kids, especially at the high school level, even college level, it's easy for them to get lazy, especially in the gun offense where they're doing this zone read stuff and they'll just hand it off and let guys go. But you see right here where he actually busts out the first couple steps after he hands it off. Okay. That right there.
Even George Kittle, look at George Kittle.
Is holding defenders.
George Kittle's looking, because he's thinking like, oh, the guy's going to crash down. I'm going to have to block him. And he's running away. George Kittle's like, hey, where you going?
Yep.
Even so George Kittle's thrown off.
Because he sold him so hard on it. So, like, these are the little details that people that go unseen a lot. But if he doesn't do that the way he does, what is that, a 10-yard rush right there? Like that stuff over and over and over again, where you took 3 defenders out of the play just by carrying out a play fake. So those are huge. Those are big wins on offense. And those are things that that's the benefit to Shanahan's offense too. So now this one right here, this one is a miss. Okay. So we go play action right up the middle under center, then use check is leaking out there. And to me, yes, you can call that tight coverage, whatever it may be. It wasn't tight enough to miss it. He kind of throws that 2-ball-ish, almost like hard with an arc type of ball. Now, don't get me wrong. He's giving him a catchable ball. You got corner on the backside, right? You can't throw it too soft. And then you got somebody trailing. I wish that this one right here, especially with Juszczyk being a tight end coming out of college, somebody who can catch the ball, I wish that Jimmy would stick his foot in the ground right here and throw a freaking laser at him. Just put it on him. Throw him a bullet. Put it right on him, right in front of him, instead of trying to make that little layered-ish throw, because he tries to get, I think, half-assed, too touchy with it. So this is one of those misses, and like I said, I'm showing people the negatives because Jimmy's done so well the last couple of weeks. I wanted to expose the negatives for those folks that are out there that enjoy seeing the partial failures from Jimmy Garoppolo in hopes that Trey Lance will get into the game at some point. But
Trey ain't getting it.
Wasn't
he ain't getting there right now.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. You know, again, I just think he can put that ball on him a little bit more. And really, it's more of one of those fastball throws out of the break. And I see what he's doing. He's trying to anticipate it out of the break and just give him a ball. But I think that he can stick it. And you watch his feet. He kind of maybe felt that ghost pressure, if you would, right there. He could have stepped into that probably a little bit more and drove it. But that's just me being, the nitpicking quarterback coach here. So that was one of those misses. And I think I had one more on there. Right here. So you're talking about on time, throwing the ball, play action. This is that one to Ayuk. Here, boom. Deep over or deep dig route, on time, right out, hitch, drive. There's no double hitches, no stepping up. Even though he gets that outside pressure, he knows he's got blockers in front of him, takes that one hitch in the pocket, and he's throwing that thing on time. Perfect ball for Ayuk to get it. High and away, knocks down the defender. Strong catch from Ayuk, too, who balled out yesterday. But that's a clean throw. And I know, again, people, it's not that big of a deal. Those are the things you get from an experienced quarterback. A lot of other quarterbacks would see that pressure from the front side and want to take those double hitches to get back on the pocket. But if he hitches one more time there, he'll end up being late, okay? Or he's going to give the defender a chance to maybe recover, but instead he throws him open. High, Ayuk goes and gets it, hence the reason why they drafted him. And there we go for 25, 30 yards up the field. So those are the good things that, the good and the bad from Jimmy Garoppolo. There was plenty of other throws. First drive of the game, first play of the game, they go play action to the right. He pops his head around, D ends in his face, throws off platform without his feet underneath him, pops it to Kittle, and they're moving the chains right off the bat. So those little throws, like the off-platform throws, with guys in his face, I think that Jimmy does a really good job at those things. So, I hope that he stays on it. He's looked really good up to this point, the last couple of weeks. So I can't see, obviously they might do some of the package stuff. They throw Trey in at the end of the game and he does his little thing and he's doing his own read and stuff like that. So I think it's a good opportunity for Trey Lance to obviously continue to sit and learn, especially with the way that Jimmy's playing right now.
Yeah, and also I think these are the things that we were expecting to see from him throughout the year, right? Like, when you hear that they're keeping Jimmy Garoppolo and he's the starting quarterback, I think from the jump, people were expecting to see this level of play from him where, again, it might not be like the sexy, splashy plays, but it's high level efficiency. And, you were hoping to get that from him as opposed to going to a rookie and having to play through some of those growing pains. Well, now Jimmy is playing how you expect him to play early on. I think he's having good complementary football from his teammates, not turning the ball over, not committing penalties. 49ers defense finally taking the ball over. I think overall that's what's leading to wins. And again, if he continues to do that, then there is no need to see Trey Lance. Now, again, there is that you gave up a lot for him. And there's that aspect of, developing him and getting him to see these things. So, his clock is slowed down a little bit to where next year he doesn't have to go through these growing pains, because now that's the question now, right? Everything you talked about was about, Jimmy, seeing things, carrying out fakes, the timing of throws. Well, if Trey Lance isn't getting those in-game reps and the understanding of how to do those things now, is that just going to carry over to next year? And now he's going to have to go through it, and you've just prolonged a process that has to happen regardless?
I think that seeing it and seeing the film study, being in the meetings, watching Jimmy do the things that he's doing and having success with it is beneficial. Now, do I see that playing experience, like getting into a game and actually playing? Obviously, you can't really mirror those reps that you would get into a game versus maybe the twos or scout team. We're running with the ones here and there against the twos defense in practice. It's never going to be game-like, and that at practice, very rarely is it ever going to be truly game-like, especially at quarterback where you're never getting touched at practice anyways. So you don't feel the same heat from the D-line or corners blitzing or whatever it may be. So I wouldn't say it's prolonging the process. I think that if you look, like we've talked about, you look at the success from guys in the NFL and guys who have sat in the NFL, to name a few. I mean, there's plenty of dudes that got to sit for 2 to 3 years. Like Aaron Rodgers didn't even play year 2. He might have played a little bit, but he didn't play year 2. We talked about Brady. We talked about Steve Young. We talked about plenty of other guys that have had to sit and learn and develop and understand the playbook a little bit more, because that's the thing too. And we talked about it with Josh. Like when I asked Josh, year 1, how do you feel? It's like they're given a fraction of the playbook because they're so extensive and there's so much information that you got to learn, especially in an offense probably like Shanahan's, where there's a ton of different things that they're doing. So he said Favre was a Hall of Famer, chill great. Yeah, I know Favre was a Hall of Famer, hence why Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind him.
I think what he's saying is Aaron Rodgers, you can't compare the situations because Rodgers was sitting behind a Hall of Famer as opposed to Trey Lance,
I get that, but I get it. But you're sitting him behind a quarterback that threw for over 4,000 yards and took him, right along to the Super Bowl with their run game and the defense, and has played in the Super Bowl and should have won a Super Bowl. We've talked about that before. If the play calling stayed the same, then we wouldn't even be talking about it. Jimmy Garoppolo would have a Super Bowl ring as his own, not as a backup for Tom Brady. So, I think
what you're saying is
you can't. Let me ask you
yes,
this.
he's not one of the greats.
Would you want him to? No,
right?
But would you
like? He's not one of these. He said
Jimmy G, quarterback.
Jimmy G and Favre, Montana, Bledsoe. But what you're saying is, yeah, okay, he's not those guys, but he is a quarterback that wins, and he can win, and he can play winning football, and he can do things the right way to kind of, let a guy that needs developing be able to kind of sit and see this is how you do things. Now, I think the best of both worlds for Kyle Shanahan is for Trey Lance to see how Jimmy does things, take some of that and put that on his skill set and what he does, and now you have like this kind of monster of a quarterback, right? I think that's what Kyle Shanahan is looking for, and how he's looking to develop.
That's my point.
Trey Lance.
And people are taking this to the extent of me saying that those guys sat. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily matter who they sat behind. They had an opportunity to learn the game from sitting, right? So
Carson Palmer
that
sat
is my
behind
point.
John
It's
Kitna
not-
for a year.
There you go. And then Carson Palmer played 15 years in the NFL, and they were doing well and tore his ACL before Pittsburgh ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. So they probably beat Pittsburgh if he doesn't tear his ACL or get hurt or whatever the hell it may be. So it's not necessarily about who they're sitting behind. To an extent it is. But would you want Trey Lance to be sitting behind CJ Beathard or
Right.
one of the other dudes, right? Like Jimmy Garoppolo isn't a terrible dude to be learning from because he's operated that offense well. He's done things well. Do I think that when Trey comes in at some point or another, I guess we'll probably see, obviously, but whether Trey comes in and operates that offense as fluid and as smooth, that might be – that's the expectations. Now, when you get somebody like Trey Lance that's going to do that, we talked about that before, high risk, high reward. There's going to be some throws he's going to make that he's going to try and push the ball in certain places that Jimmy doesn't necessarily do because Jimmy can't do it. And so that's where you get those random interceptions here and there, or those deflections or the drive killers, whatever it may be, because you're trying to force things that aren't wide open. You've overlooked one or two just to go to three. And that's what's made Tom Brady really good. And Jimmy learned from Tom Brady. That's what made Tom Brady really good is you watch Tom Brady takes 1 and 2, like the first and second progressions a lot. Last 2 minutes of the game, Tom Brady's got the ball in his hands. Do you see how many deep balls do you see go down the field with Tom Brady? Well, I'm talking about Tom Brady before he went to the Buccaneers. Not a ton. Right?
I was gonna say because we're talking about with Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich.
No. I'm not talking about the person. The person, not the personnel he's got right now. I'm talking about what the 6 rings. That
we've known him to be. Right.
Yeah.
We've known him to be a guy that just ball out.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I do have a question.
It's a lot of what Jimmy Garoppolo does.
I have a question for you. All right, because there's one thing that I've noticed with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I actually sent the text message to my guy Rich Madrid this morning, and I was like, man, I don't see Jimmy do a certain thing, and I've seen it from Trey Lance, and I'm like, well, how can I see it from a guy that needs that seasoning and he's doing it, and I never see it from Jimmy Garoppolo? But I think maybe you can help me. You can help me understand. So Jimmy, I never see him manipulate coverage. Is that like a New England thing? Or I never see him and I've seen it from Trey Lance. I've seen Trey Lance look left to hold somebody in coverage and then know, I want to come back here and make that throw. And I've seen Trey Lance do it, but Jimmy, it's typically he pops up, he stares at where he wants to throw, and he throws it in there, understanding the timing and the rhythm and which it takes. And there was a play, there was a corner post yesterday by Brandon Ayuk, and there was a too high safety, so he stares it down. The backside safety staring at it, so he can't throw it. So then he's looking, and he just comes down to his check down, hits his check down, picks up 9 yards or whatever, right? Well, one thing that I noticed was as soon as he looked left, the other safety stopped his feet. So it's why can't you, and maybe you can help me understand this, why can't you drop back, look at the check down or look at something else, knowing you want to get Ayuk on the corner post, which he whooped that too high safety on the other side. So if that other safety wasn't in the picture, it would be a touchdown. If you get him to stop his feet and you're able to throw it out there, it'd be a touchdown. But I don't see him do those things. Is that just maybe how his mind works, or just maybe doesn't have that aggressive nature? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that when you look at the way that the offense is set up, we don't see a ton of deep routes. The one thing that you see from Jimmy is throwing on time, right? So he doesn't necessarily have to manipulate the way that the plays are set up and the ways that the play calls are. He's a lot of play action. He probably throws more off play action than most people in the NFL, right? So he does a lot of play action stuff. And then by the time he pops his head around, he takes one hitch and boom, the ball's out of his hand. So I think it's the way that Shanahan has set up the offense, not necessarily so much in a pure progression state where he's going from full field scans to maybe half field scans, from the inside of the field to the hash or whatever it may be. And it might be like, an under or drive concept with an under route and the dig behind it, or, double slants or things like that. So a lot of the timing stuff for their offense is, a lot of the route concepts are timing and on-time throws, not so much pure progression, move the safety or whoever it may be with your eyes and then come back to the other side of the field. One, those obviously take longer, but two, it just depends, like on the corner post you're talking about, depends on the backside safety, right? So if he busts the front side safety, he's toasted, and you get the backside safety. It depends on the route concept. If there's nobody to hold the backside safety, then he's basically playing center field anyways. So maybe Jimmy saw that and then goes down to the check down. But if you have somebody that's pushing like a corner route and then you got a post behind it, now you take that backside safety, the front side safety gets whooped and he's wide open. But again,
Right.
You don't really see him actually force the ball down the field. Those are those throws where
I'm going to show you what I'm talking about
beat.
too from Trey. But like I saw this from Trey and I'm like, damn, I don't ever see like Jimmy do this type of stuff. So like on this play here, you see Trey, like he's looking left, knowing he wants to come back right. Like, hold on, let me pause it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So his feet are set to the left. He's just basically getting that backer to move out of the way, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm getting the backer.
Number one there.
Look right here. He's looking at the backer. The backer says, "Okay, let me look this way," and he's holding him, knowing the whole time I want to go here. Like, and I know I want to go here, but I just need to move this backer out of this window. So he's looking, and then now, gotcha, and he just boom fires it in there, right? So like I just look at that and I'm like, man, like if the rookie, like, why don't I see Jimmy doing those type of things,
I think I honestly, I'm going to pay attention to it a little bit more, but I see him look off. But I don't I think you're right. Like a lot of the throws we see are on-time throws. That's an on-time throw, which is great. You saw in like a basic route or a dig route, right there. The linebacker's looking inside, probably to number one. Number one gets wide, and he's getting his eyes back to the quarterback. And Trey does a great job of holding him. Pops back one hitch, ball's on the money, moving the chains, or obviously a touchdown, whatever it may be. So I think you do see it. I just don't think that – and that's one thing that Jimmy has, I think, struggled with a little bit is the ability to move defenders where he will stay and key on guys, and then he'll throw in that tight window, which right there, that would be a tight window for most people in the NFL. That was a pretty big window, right? Because everything seems to be a lot tighter, obviously, in the NFL. Where Jimmy would maybe stare down the defender, not necessarily shift his body, but hold him. But he's looking him straight up in the field, so he's not necessarily moving him to the left there.
Right.
And he would end up throwing that ball in a tighter window. Now, he does a good job at it, but like I said earlier, it becomes risky, and it gets a little bit fuzzy across the middle, and he does it with confidence. But some of those throws he makes, you're like, oh, shit. Like, you kind of got away with one there. And I think he could definitely help himself out by using his eyes or setting his body like Trey did. So Trey sets his body left instead of just looking left. Trey sets his body left. So you look at linebackers that are obviously looking through into the backfield. You see a guy that's looking left with his body and not just eyes. Yeah, you're going to be influenced likely to move out of the way. So I think that Jimmy could do a better job of actually moving his body position and then shifting that quick flip back to the right side like you just saw right there from Trey Lance. So,
and that's again, not to say, I know some people are talking about reads and stuff. Like Jimmy Garoppolo goes through reads well. I think he understands his reads and things like that. Like when he drops back and he looks at the coverage and, okay, they take away this, then I need to go to this. I think he does that well. What I'm talking about is it's a little different. It's just manipulating coverage. I know as a defensive back, if a guy gets up and he looks at me, I'm thinking, well, he's probably coming to this side, or okay, maybe something is coming from this side. Let me look over there. And it just holds me for a second. So when you see a guy like Trey Lance as a rookie, yeah, I mean, it's like, this is the rookie that everybody is saying, like, oh, well, he's not, and I'm not saying he's ready to just take on a full game plan, but those are the things that give me like the optimism that he's going to be, a solid quarterback. But I think it's just seeing him do it in a preseason game. And I thought that was a high level play. And he did it again to throw down the right sideline where to my guy, Trent Sherfield, where he did the same thing. Right. Looked at the safety, held the safety, and then threw a nice touch ball to Trent Sherfield. And everybody's like, oh, it's wide open. Well, yeah, it's wide open because he held the safety off. I'm like, man, I just don't see Jimmy do those things. And I would like to see it, but I guess by the time Jimmy gets it, it's probably not going to matter because he's going to be gone.
Right. And that's the thing, as I see here, it says Greg is high-key a Jimmy fan in the comments. So let me ask you this. Are you somebody that wants to see Jimmy not do well? Like, I'm not in love with Jimmy Garoppolo, but at the same time, it's hard not to like somebody that doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
In all reality. Right? I mean, you tell me, like, why wouldn't you at this point? If you're a true fan or a true Niner fan, why wouldn't you really like Jimmy Garoppolo with what he's doing right now? Do you want to just see him fail just so you could rush the rookie into the game? And then you rush the rookie in, and then maybe he's not ready, and you start to see errors, and what are you going to do? Go throw Jimmy back into the game? And then you take yourself out of contention and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, they're in a good spot right now because look at what's going on in the NFC West. You go beat the Rams, you go beat the Jags, and they beat them up pretty good, obviously. And the Jags are the Jags, but that defense is pretty stiff with the Jags. Turnovers and penalties killed them yesterday. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks. Do I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be here next year? No. Am I a fan of Jimmy? Yeah, I think I'm a fan of Jimmy. I think it's hard not to be a fan of Jimmy because of what he does. And people, I also saw in the comments, and it's a good reminder, people seem to forget how shitty the Niners were before Jimmy Garoppolo showed up.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have a question for you right here. Jimmy Garoppolo shows up 6-0.
So here's a question from our guy Trey. Says, Greg, do you think Kyle can mask Trey's faults the way he does for Jimmy? I'm not saying Jimmy should be benched right now, for the record too. So he's just saying, do you think that the way that Kyle plays, this is what he's saying. He said use fault, but the way that Kyle is able to play to Jimmy Garoppolo's strengths and it result in wins, do you think that he can do that for Trey Lance? I want to start off by answering this a little bit, then I'll get I think you can, mask someone's deficiencies or whatnot, or play to their strengths. I think there's still a base level of quarterbacking that you need to have to be able to have a certain level of success that you want. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that he can. I mean, obviously Shanahan has done well with went to playoffs with RG3. You had Kirk Cousins. You had Matt Ryan. He's obviously with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that he would find ways to do it. And I think the Arizona game was like a trial, which that was a trash can of a trial for, what he tried to do with Trey Lance. I think he would. I think that what you're going to get, though, is he'll be able to, and I know this is what we've talked about as well, is when you get Trey Lance in there, he will be able to open up the playbook a little bit more, hopefully, right, given the fact that Trey can actually push the ball down the field. So when you talk about a little bit of diversity within the offense, like you're probably going to start to see some more of the deep balls that you saw in Atlanta with Matt Ryan. Now, we don't have a Julio Jones, but we got some pretty good dudes. And I think that once Trey Lance comes along and is able to throw the ball down the field, I'm hoping that they would go get a big-time outside receiver, a bigger physical type of receiver outside, because we can push the ball downfield. But realistically in the offense right now, where do you see a big-time receiver fitting anyways, just because we don't push the ball down the field as much, and a lot of it is quick game West Coast offense, just like Tom Brady had. Tom Brady didn't have a big physical receiver until they got Randy Moss for, the year or two, whatever he was there. And that's when they started pushing the ball down the field. So I think he could. I think he would mask some of the deficiencies that Trey has, and there's going to be plenty of them. There's going to be growing pains that you're going to get, and like I said, it's high risk, high reward. You're going to start pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. You're going to start utilizing his arm talent. There's going to be some errors. DBs are going to win. Defense is going to win at some point too. It's not just killing the defense over and over and over again. Guys are going to take advantage of him being younger. They're going to disguise coverages. That's all of the things that you're going to see with Trey Lance. That Jimmy has been in the NFL long enough, and Kyle has figured out what Jimmy's game is, and that's why you see 16 for 22 or 17 for 23 or 20 for 28, whatever it may be. And there's not a ton of sexy throws downfield. It's because that's not Jimmy's game. But I think that he would be able to open up the playbook more and start having those deeper concepts that are going to take a little bit longer to develop. I think obviously you're going to see a lot more from the run game with the quarterback position. I think that play action stuff under center, especially with Trey Lance's ability to take off and run, given the fact that, if he's doing the same stuff that Jimmy's doing, holding play actions or carrying out fakes, you're going to take more defenders with you. So I think when Trey's time comes, it's going to be fun to watch. But, I don't think that – I think if you threw him in right now, I don't think he would do bad, but I would put it more on Shanahan to actually put him in a good position currently right now to have success. And that's the issue, is I don't think that even Shanahan is ready for necessarily what Trey Lance brings, in my opinion, given what he showed with the Cardinals game, which was completely different than anything we've seen from the Niners offense. So, or anything that Shanahan has run. So I think that you're going to be able to see a ton of balls pushed down the field, a ton of deeper throws, comebacks, things like that you don't see from Jimmy. But through that, you're going to see some mistakes. You're going to see some balls that are thrown up in the air that you're probably going to question here and there. And that's all right. It's football at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think he could. I think that Shanahan will figure out a way.
And I'll always say this too. We get so caught up on every little either positive or negative thing from our own team. Go watch some other quarterbacks and watch, some of the things that happen within their games, some of their misses, or, some of their big plays that they have. And I think, we'll see it's not always great. People made a big deal out of Trey Lance and the batted down balls. But, you watched last night, Justin Herbert threw a ball, hit somebody in the helmet, ball pops up, getting intercepted, and, it almost resulted in a loss for the LA Chargers. So, we can look at every negative with our team, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, whether it's Trey Lance, but just go check out how some of these other dudes. I say with our DBs too. Everybody, our DBs are trash. Go watch some of these other DBs and some of the coverages that they're blowing and how they're playing on a consistent basis. And it's not pretty, I think, the way people think.
And here's the thing, the stat came out last year, and there's two things. You watched Trevor Lawrence yesterday. He didn't look terrible. He's playing against the Niners defense. He didn't throw any picks yesterday, but there's a few times where it gets a little fuzzy in the pocket, and in times where you might see Jimmy stay in there and make a throw and take contact on. You watch Trevor's feet, and he was like, the balls that he was throwing were still like he would throw throwaways, but they almost weren't throwaways. They were kind of like outside to try and still hit the receiver. And those are the type of risky throws you're going to get from a young guy, where it should be a throwaway and they still try and force something in there. And Trevor did that yesterday. But also, we talked about it, or I talked about it earlier with Josh. And you look at Mahomes, okay? So Pat Mahomes, obviously, everybody knows his game and what he can do and the ability to throw the ball down the field and make these sexy sidearm throws and off-platform stuff and no-look things or whatever it may be. And it's all good. Right? Everybody can agree that they would take Patrick Mahomes right now on the Niners. I'm almost positive everybody would say that, right? But at the same time, they showed a stat last year with Mahomes and the luck that was associated with him. I think that Mahomes, I got to go back and try and find the exact numbers, but I remember it came out just after the Falcons game last year. Mahomes threw like a seam route or a post route, and it would have been game over. DB jumps up right out of the DB's hands, drops it. Okay, the DB catches the ball. They get the ball on the 20, take the knee, game over. Chiefs lose to the Falcons, right? No, DB drops it wide open in his hands. Drops it. The next play, Mahomes throws a touchdown. Okay. After that game, they came out with a stat because Mahomes had like 10 picks or 9 picks or something like that. They came out with a stat, and Mahomes led the league at the time in dropped interceptions.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the luck factor behind that. If Patrick Mahomes threw 35 touchdowns and 22 interceptions or 20 interceptions, whatever it was, because I think he had like 13 dropped interceptions or 12 dropped interceptions at that point with 9 interceptions already. Okay. So if he finished the year with 35 touchdowns, 21 picks, what do you think people would say about him? It's mediocre numbers, right? There's too many interceptions.
He's Jameis Winston.
That's what you get. Right. That's what you get with a guy like that. Is he good? Yes. But high risk, high reward. They make throws with their arm that others can't make. And in doing so, they're going to force some things, and you're going to see some errors occur. With Jimmy, he can't make those damn throws. So you're really not going to see a ton of those errors anyways. That's my point, is the efficiency from that. He doesn't even try to make those throws because he knows he can't make them anyways. But on the flip side, it's not sexy, and he doesn't push the ball downfield. And all of us, I think, are hungry to see what could that offense be at the next level. Like, Trey could take us to the next level because he can push that ball down the field like Jimmy can't. But again, you're going to see some of those mistakes happen. So Patrick Mahomes, great. He does a lot of good things, but he gets a lot of luck too. He has a lot of luck in the things that he does. Like I said, led the league, I think, last year in dropped interceptions. So a lot of people would say he'd be mediocre if he came out, like you said, Jameis Winston. Those are Jameis Winston numbers. You throw 20-something interceptions to, 30 or 40 touchdowns. So I think people would look at him different if he didn't have that luck factor. But with a guy like him, a guy like Trey Lance, guys like Josh, guys with big arms, Favre, right? They put the ball in places that is you sit and stop and look at your friends or whoever you're watching. Like, did he really just make that damn throw? For the good and the bad, right? Like you make these crazy 50-yard cross field throws. You're like, holy smokes. And then he makes another one when the DB undercuts it. And you're like, what the hell is he doing? So you're gonna get a little bit of both. But I think that with Shanahan's playbook, it's gonna look good because he will set up Trey. I think, and I hope that he will set up Trey like he does with Jimmy to play towards Trey's game. That he won't force him to make first year starting. He won't force him to make those true pure progression reads where he'll have set up routes underneath because he's done really well as an offensive coach. He's pretty smart, obviously, with setup, with calling things just like last year or 2 years ago in the Super Bowl or the playoff game where he's looking at the ref on the sideline. He's going to hold him right here. Like, he knows what's going to happen, right? He knows his scripted plays. He knows what's going to happen. It's whether they execute it on offense or not, typically. So that's my perspective on that.
All right, man. Shoes, you've been gracious with your time, man. I'm gonna get you out of here now, Greg. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yep. No, you got it, man. I appreciate you guys.
They're going crazy in the chat right now, man. There's a lot going on there. But
what are they saying right now?
They're talking about like Colin Kaepernick.
The Niners, Mike?
No, no, they're talking about Kaepernick and some other stuff.
Oh, I'll let that stay to the chat.
They can
go have at it then.
Yeah. All right, man. But I appreciate
there's no
you
winning in the chat. You know that. There's no winning in the chat, folks.
No winning.
There's no winning, but have at it.
No winning. Well, all right, man.
Brock,
appreciate you coming on. We're gonna go to break when I get back.
Oh, wait, hey, you coming to the game this week? You coming to the game this week?
I might. I got a ticket for me, so
Stevie ain't gonna let you come to the game.
She said I could.
That's what I told you on Twitter. I told you on Twitter. You go to the game, I'll figure it out. It's my birthday weekend. I got a ticket to the game. We'll go do the damn podcast with the faithful in the parking lot at the game.
Someone messaged me and said they got two free tickets for me. Did you hear me? Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know what happened with my guy Greg. Oh, he just messaged me. He said someone called him. All right, but Greg, I'm gonna get with you. I'll talk to you. Talk about potentially going out there. Got to get my flight stuff set up. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Everybody that's contributed to the show. As you guys know, I actually have the podcast form of this show. I try to keep it loose. It's not as formal. It's more of a radio show. Get off my thoughts, get off y'all thoughts. You know, we get into all that stuff. If you want to listen to a more structured show, listen to Locked On 49ers with myself and my co-host Brian Peacock. All right, we come at you 5 days a week. We did a reaction of the Jaguars game as well. Make sure you guys listen to Locked On NFL Draft. Manscaped, an official partner of the San Francisco 49ers morning show. Manscaped, get your stuff right now. Stop walking around looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you're a lady, go ahead, get it for your husband, your boyfriend. You know, they got all the good stuff, man. I don't know, crop preserver. we got some Reviver, ball deodorant, or ball toner, all that good stuff. So, Manscaped, I need to sell 10 of these so I can keep them as an official member of this show. All right, so I need to sell 10. I'm at like 4 or 5 or whatever. All right, 5 more. So you guys right now head over to manscaped.com or whatever the website is. Manscaped, head over there now. And yeah, man, appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Promo code Crocky for Manscaped. Promo code Crocky, Underdog Fantasy. I got to get my Manscaped ad reads down. I'll have that down for tomorrow's show. But I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all tomorrow morning. And again, it'll be same time, 9 a.m. I have a private session from at 8 o'clock. It's the little Thanksgiving break right now. So 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'll see y'all. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.